What's up, everybody? Simon here. In this episode, we're going to talk about how to stop being lazy. We're going to look at some Japanese techniques. That's right. The Japanese seem to do a lot of things great. I personally, on my dream list, is to visit Japan. Never been. If you have, comment below. But in this video, we're going to talk about 7 techniques that will make you less lazy and will get you motivated to get that thing that you always wanted to do done, or even long-term effectiveness, which is very important for business, relationships, communication, you name it. So let's get into it. The Japanese are some great warriors, basically from samurais to yakuzas to just their whole spirit of being perfect at everything they do intrigues me as a person. They strive on pure perfection, and I think that's incredible. So obviously they have some principles and some history and some techniques that I wanted to research. So the first technique that we're going to talk about, which is very important, and actually it goes with some books that I've read, is called Kaizen. Kaizen is basically continuous improvements through small, tiny increments. These improvements are not drastic. They're not life-changing. Everyone today wants to have something done right away and see it completed right away, but life doesn't work that way, me included. Rather than making a big drastic change, I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to launch this program now without really much thought. So rather than making a big drastic change that's going to affect everything that you do in terms of a quick decision pivot, Kaizen talks about making a small incremental change that's going to better for the progress and the longevity of your decision making. Big changes can feel overwhelming. They can feel like you haven't accomplished something, where small changes are doable, more manageable, and easily attained, easily perpetuated as well. Starting small with manageable actions is going to lead to big results. And that's also was written in a book I read recently, Atomic Habits. Small 1% changes improve your opportunities and your position later on in life if you do them early on. For example, if I want to work out, or if I'm feeling lazy about working out, or doing a video such as this one, I say, you know what, I'm going to work out for a couple minutes. That couple minutes actually leads to more. Or I'll do one video. I'll convince myself, but that may lead to a few videos. I will study for a few minutes, but that may lead longer. I'll only read 3 pages today instead of 20. But that gets your mind going and your focus, and then you start reading more. Also, starting off small. And very recently, I've changed my routine for working out in the mornings to just 15, 20 minutes. My daughter wakes me up, we go work out. But that 15, 20 minutes has been consistent. When I would do an hour in the gym or try to put in 1 hour workout, it would not last. It just would not be as consistent as I would like it to be. So small incremental movements with Kaizen are a lot better than trying to do this big movement that rarely happens. Let's look at number 2. Number 2 is the Pomodoro Technique. It's actually a tradition or technique that has originated in Italy, but the Japanese have promoted it, inherited it, and use it. Basically, what it talks about is focusing in intervals of 25 to 30 minutes or so, followed by breaks. So you'll work your butt off for 25, 30 minutes, set your timer on your phone. They even have work apps that can allow you to do this technique, where every so many segments you take a break. The break allows you to reset. It reduces procrastination, it reduces anxiety, and it allows you to reset and refocus. It minimizes burnout. It increases your focus. It's so good for you because you will feel rejuvenated coming back to the task. Oftentimes in offices, people go get a coffee. They walk out, they get some fresh air. Not that I condone smoking, but they relax. And what this technique does, it allows you to really focus in intervals at your best. And I think it's very important to be able to knock out a task, walk somewhere, walk around, stretch, do whatever, and then get back to the second task. So that's the Pomodoro Technique. Number 3, an interesting technique that us city folks don't have too much chance to do, I guess, but maybe not the bathing part. It's called Shinrin Shinrin-yoku. And this technique, the Japanese basically practice bathing in the forest, which is kind of cool, I guess. But it's a practice of immersing yourself with nature. In our way, or what we would do as city folks or people that live in non-rural areas or even in rural areas, I would say it's grounding with nature, running on the grass barefoot and rolling in the grass and so forth. Spending time in nature has been proven to reduce stress, help with your anxiety, your breathing, your calmness, mental fatigue. It does everything to bring you back to reality. As humans, we're not meant to sit behind a desk, to sit in front of a camera all day typing on the keyboard. We're meant to be outside. We're meant to enjoy fresh air, get some vitamin D from the sun. We're meant to be within nature. That is what humans have to have. And because we don't have it, we often get depressed. We get our mental mindset not as focused. We're distracted. We develop these diseases, ADHD and so forth. A lot of things happen. In addition to that, you get lazy. When you're not outdoors, you're not getting that fresh air that wakes you up, you become lazy. If you work from home all the time, you guys may know, you start wanting to take a nap. You start wanting to be a little lazier. You're not really paying attention. You're not focused and so forth. That's because you're not outside. Shinrin-yoku promotes mindfulness and relaxation, and it can motivate you, and it brings you back to nature. And number 4, Gambaru, which means to do your best and persevere no matter the difficulty. After having so many Navy SEALs on my podcast and elite Special Forces members on the Ideal Hour or ex-Special Forces, one question I always ask them is, how do you keep going through Hell Week, through mental struggles, through all these type of fatiguing moments of laziness, of moments where you want to give up and so forth? And a lot of them say there's no off-ramp on the freeway. There's only one destination. Those are the guys that make it. There are no outs. And when you could persevere and continue going no matter the difficulty and know your end goal or destination, that's when you will be fully engaged in what you want to do and will commit. The concept of Gambaru focuses on persistence and giving maximum effort to the task at hand. It's an attitude. It promotes hard work and due diligence. Even though you don't feel like doing something, Gambaru, which is the Japanese term, makes you want to do the things that you don't want to do through that type of thinking. Pushing yourself through the challenges. There are so many times, I've actually seen Joe Rogan talk about it, where he doesn't feel like working out that day, and he's like, this is the day I have to work out most because I don't want my mind to kick my butt. I want to kick my own butt. So I don't know if he does that, but he's a hard kicker. Ikigai. This is another term, and term number 5. It's a sense of purpose and a reason for being. Why do we do everything that we do knowing that one day we're going to die? That's crazy, right? So what is our purpose of being? And this is what Ikigai talks about or means. You have to identify your Ikigai or whatever gives you joy in life or meaning. It could be your kids, building a legacy, building a work product, being a good husband, being a person that helps the community or neighborhood or your country, a soldier, whatever it is, that's your purpose. And that drives your motivation and dedication. There are so many times. How many times have you woken up in the morning and not wanting to do anything? But then you said, hey, I have to put food on the table, or I have to do this for my spouse, or I have to do this for my mom, my dad, etc. So many of us work so hard and oftentimes put ourselves in the back burner. But understanding our Ikigai, we know why we're doing what we're doing as our purpose and our motivation. It will reduce your feelings of laziness because you have purpose for doing what you're doing today. Okay, the next one. This one's a big one. Growing up in a cluttered household, it really demotivates you when you have so much clutter around, whether it's on your desk, whether it's in your work binder, whether it's in your backpack, a school backpack, in your work bag, in your room, in your office, you name it. It's horrible. Minimalist approach in the Japanese culture is so key. When you have clutter, you can't focus. You're focusing on cleaning the clutter, and it's not good. And as I do this video, I'm noticing some things I could clean up on my desk. Physical clutter leads to anxiety. It leads to distraction. It increases procrastination and laziness. And minimizing clutter, which the Japanese call Danshari, gives you a more productive and focused environment. So always organize your space, clean your room, clean out your closets every year, clean out all these things that are sitting around that can be a distraction that you haven't touched for a long time. If you haven't touched it in a long time, put it in storage, but never, ever, ever have a messy desk or a messy work environment. It will lead to laziness and just a bad feeling of coming into work. In fact, I'm such a proponent of Danshari that I teach my kids to make sure their bed is made and their room is clean every day. If they don't do that, they're on timeout, they lose privileges in certain things and so forth. And if they do that, I don't reward them with anything but a good job, and that's the way it should be. Finally, point number 7. I hope I pronounce it correct. Again, it's a Japanese term, Seiri and Seiton. Seiton. Organization is Seiri. Seiton is proper management. These are the 2 principles of the Japanese system, which are used in the workplace but can also be used in personal life. And it goes back to the Danshari, which is cleaning and organizing, and proper arrangement, proper execution is what leads to success and destroys your laziness. Keep your work environment super clean. Put away your stuff. A lot of people, even when they work out, they don't put away their things when they work out. That's a problem. When they come home late at night, they don't put away their stuff or don't put it away first thing in the morning. That's a problem. When you get in a continuous habit of not organizing, not putting away and keeping things clean and manageable, that's when everything falls apart. Another tip, if you own a home, and some of us are blessed, or if it's even an apartment, whatever it may be, or you rent, make sure your home, apartment, condo, wherever you live, is 5 to 10 minutes away from a full cleaning so that you could accommodate a visitor. So if your mom calls you and says, son, I'll be there in 10 minutes, or your dad calls you and says, I need to stop by and talk to you in 5 minutes, you could quickly clean up and have the place clean. That's how clean it should be prior at any given point to someone coming over and you making them feel comfortable. That goes back to the organization Seiri and proper arrangement, the Seiton. And I hope you enjoyed this video on the Japanese rules to ending laziness to being productive. If you did, comment below and like the video. Check out the Ideal Hour podcast with your host, me, with some cool guests on there. It is on my channels here. You could check it out as some of the channels I recommend. Thanks for watching, and I appreciate it. I'll catch you here in the next video.